I hate Steven Singer. But you know what I love? Mothers. Think about it. Before morning coffee and chaos, before the day even starts, there's mom, the one who wakes up at sunrise, packs lunches, drives carpools, and somehow keeps everything together. She's the sunrise of the family. That's why Steven Singer created something special this Mother's Day. His brand new Sunrise 24-karat gold-dipped rose. This exclusive rose captures colors of the morning. A morning sunrise with sparkling blue that fades to a pinkish purple, to a warm golden yellow. It's stunning. Steven's gold-dipped roses are real roses dipped in, preserved in real gold, guaranteed to last a lifetime, just like mom's love. They arrive in beautiful gift box. They're shipped for free with your own personalized message. Steven's new Sunrise Rose is just $89 exclusively and only available at IHateStevenSinger.com. Celebrate the moms who make every sunrise possible. Steven Singer Jewelers.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on this Sunday evening. And thank you for tuning in. My God. What, where, when, how, who? This is getting really out of hand. And I've said that for quite some time now. Every day you go, ooh, now we've reached a level but now we've just, oh my God. We're not even that upset. We're not surprised. We're not shocked. Another presidential assassination attempt. All those radio stations. I should be the guy. Hey, it's your assassination station. We're here covering all your assassination news. It's gotten to that point. No one really seems to care. There could be a few reasons. There could be a few. I'm sure if a Democrat president was in office, it would be a huge deal. But for some reason, it doesn't seem like conservatives, Republicans, right-leaning, MAGA, they don't seem to pop shots off at Democrats, especially presidents. You know, everyone was thinking when Obama was elected that this systemically racist country would be popping shots off at him left and right. Didn't happen. Biden, a stick figure, a demented stick figure walking around, leaving the gates to the kingdom open so that illegals could stream in. No one took a pot shot at him. And thank God. Let me make that clear. I would never suggest that is an answer to a political rivalry. But boy, the left, Democrats, insane, impressionable people, they can't stop trying to kill the president. They just can't stop. And like I was saying, it's just... They are so easily influenced because they are weak-minded people. They are easily upset. They are 100% emotion-driven. Facts, logic, reason has no place in their thick skulls. So when the media, everyone, Hollywood, commercials, the politicians, when they tell these people that Donald Trump is a Nazi, he's Hitler reincarnated, they believe it. And when they reinforce it with something has to be done, we got to take this war to the streets, we need to, put a crosshair on their heads. They use this terminology that these weak-minded people gravitate toward, and then before you know it, you have a bounty of assassination attempts on Donald Trump. it's not America. It's not a good thing. Assassination attempts used to be huge, a huge story. Assassinations were huge stories, but even the attempts. I remember years ago, Squeaky Fromm, good old Squeaky Fromm, one of Charles Manson's gals, one of those gals, tried to assassinate Gerald Ford. Gerald Ford was one of the most inconsequential, boring, no one cared about Gerald Ford. And that was a big deal when it happened. It was a big story. They covered the trial of Squeaky Fromm. And now, I mean, what are we on? The 6th assassination attempt? They like to tell you this is only 3. There's plenty more. I'll get into it a little later in the show. But, yeah. At Mar-a-Lago, a guy with a shotgun, the guy at the golf course, Butler, Pennsylvania, a guy that tried to kill him with a forklift, if you remember, in 2017. There are more assassination attempts on Trump than I have to imagine any other president. But they don't like classifying them as assassination attempts. No, no, no. Like that dimwit. That dimwit Keith Olbermann. He's on social media right now saying, this doesn't qualify as an assassination attempt. Stop lying. Doesn't qualify. What? The guy, this Cole Thomas Allen, went to the hotel that the event, the White House Correspondents Dinner was in. He got a room the day before, which totally outsmarted all the security. Wow, we couldn't imagine that the assassin would come a day earlier. Holy jeez. We'll get into that, too. The complete incompetence. I know that Trump and everyone said they're heroic, Secret Service, the cops, law enforcement. I am one of the most pro-law enforcement guys you'll talk to. But this was another cluster F, another drop the ball. And the guy goes in there. He's got his guns with him that he took from California illegally. I don't care if he bought them because they're trying that too. You know the Democrats. They'll never waste a good opportunity to take guns away from law-abiding citizens. And he goes in, he's got guns, he comes down with a gun, assembles it right next to security, and then runs toward the room that the president's in after putting together a manifesto. They all have a manifesto, don't they? Where he spells it out. Donald Trump, he's evil, he's this, he's pedo, rape, but all the stuff he said. There isn't a doubt in any reasonable person's mind at what this guy's intentions were. And people like that idiot Keith Olbermann and a bunch of other liberal Democrats on social media will not say that this was indeed an assassination attempt. I think Olbermann said it was because it wasn't in close proximity. Like, he didn't get to Trump. So if he didn't get to him and shoot him, I guess you could say, well, it wasn't an attempt because he didn't do it. And then when somebody actually does injure the president, President Trump, shoot him in the ear, they say that was a lie. It was set up. It was staged. It was fake. So it's either not happening, it's not even an assassination attempt, or it's a complete staged lie. And I mean, you cannot get through to these people. They're that thick. They're that stupid. They're that destroyed by Donald Trump. Trump destroyed them mentally. They were already hanging on by fingernails. You look at them, you listen to them. They're not right in the head. I never realized, and I don't know, maybe it wasn't always this way, but I've been very surprised over the course of recent years at how unbelievably mentally ill just about half the country is. Unless there's they're fudging the numbers. We've always been told we're pretty evenly divided between liberal and conservative, Republican and Democrat and whatnot. The elections are normally pretty close unless you have some dope like Kamala Harris running. And that would lead you to believe half the country is mentally ill to sometimes extreme extents. And we see it on social media. You see these lunatics in their car. They got the phone. They're recording themselves or streaming it live. They're crying about something ridiculous, something that a normal person would look at and go, knock it off. Like The Godfather. You got to give him a smack. You can act like a man. What's the matter with you? But that's half the country? I never would have thought. Never would have thought half the country is mental. But when you see something like this happen, an attempted assassination of the president, again, and you just see this litany of excuses and people that took the opportunity. We'll get to that later, too. Ana Navarro just started spouting off, trashing Trump literally hours after an attempted assassination of the president. And these people are trashing him, trying to blame him for the assassination attempt. And others, of course, are saying that this one, too, is fake and it's staged. And then people saying, again, it's a distraction because nothing really ever happens anymore, does it? Is there ever anything that actually happens anymore? Or is it all some kind of cover-up, some diversion, deflection for something else that when it came up was a diversion or deflection? It's, it's insane. Man, we got a lot to go through tonight, and your calls obviously very welcome. 800-848-9222. We will be back in moments. Do not go anywhere.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show, and I guess I'm not going to obviously read this guy's manifesto, but I've culled some interesting things from it. First of all, the assassin's kind of biography. 31, California teacher. He sent about a little over 1,000-word document to his family 10 minutes before the attack. I think his brother tried to get in touch with the cops right after he saw this manifesto or document, whatever you want to call it. Not in time. Targeted Trump administration by rank, explicitly excluding Kash Patel. So I guess he didn't have a problem with Kash Patel. He used buckshot in his shotgun instead of slugs to minimize collateral casualties. Described Secret Service security as, quote, actually insane, and said he walked in with multiple weapons undetected. Quote, if I was an Iranian agent instead of an American citizen, I could have brought Ma Deuce in here and no one would have noticed. Yeah, he could have, improvised explosive device, some type of explosive vest. I mean, it seems like security was minimal. And you are talking not just the president and the vice president were in there. He ended the manifesto with, quote, "It's awful. I want to throw up. Can't really recommend it. Stay in school, kids." He said this about the feeling he got going into this thing, knowing he was going to do this was not like a thing. I think he wrote this in some ways to try to downplay what he was doing, perhaps for a trial. I mean, a defense attorney gets a hold of this, they're going to go, hey, look, he used buckshot instead of slugs. He was concerned about hurting innocent people. Believe me, a Saul Goodman type will absolutely have a lot of material in this document, as they say. Then he goes on to apologize to everybody, his family and friends and things like that. Yeah, he was going after the administration, he said, which obviously includes Trump. He talks about, I would still go through most everyone here to get to the targets if it were absolutely necessary. On the basis most people choose to attend a speech by a pedophile, rapist, and traitor and are thus complicit, but I really hope it doesn't come to that. So he's saying I will shoot whoever I need to if they get in my way in between me and the president. But he said, he doesn't want to. Again, calling Trump rapist, pedophile, traitor a couple of times in this document, manifesto. Just stop calling it that. It gives it way too much importance. He talks about security. The one thing I noticed immediately walking into the hotel is a sense of arrogance. I walk in with multiple weapons and not a single person considered the possibility that I could be a threat. The security at the event is all outside, focused on protesters and current arrivals, because apparently no one thought about what happens if someone checks in the day before. This event is at a hotel, the Hilton in D.C. He checked in the day before. They didn't do any check. You didn't get, as Secret Service, get the guest list, go through who's at the hotel when the president and vice president are there. Maybe it would be so quick and easy to go through their social media. See if there's anyone that maybe you should knock on the door of the hotel and have a little talk with. Nothing. He goes, this level of incompetence is insane. And I very sincerely hope it's corrected by the time this country gets an actual competent leadership again. Yep. And, he goes on and accuses Trump of the Epstein file, crimes against humanity. But that's about it. One thing for sure, he was going in there to kill President Trump. This isn't something that can be argued. But so many of these people want to argue that point, and we'll point that out later, especially, post that Obama made. The Washington Post didn't even put the word assassination in their story the next day. But talking about security, here is Kennedy. Remember Kennedy from MTV? She was there. And Simone Sanders from MSNOW. Look out. But Kennedy wrote, we changed hotels at the last minute yesterday. So I guess they were staying at a different hotel. And she booked a room at the Hilton at 3 p.m., the same hotel where the event was. Kennedy goes on to say, I was never asked for a key, but could have produced one from a different city. Also never asked for ID and waltzed through the lobby and lower ballroom areas like I owned the place. Only saw one law enforcement dog by the red carpet, which also had surprisingly lax security. Having been to this event several times as early as 1995, this was probably the least security I've encountered. Thank God everyone is safe. That was Kennedy. She does a show on MTV. Oh, MTV. She did a show on MTV. She's on Fox News now. But that is a very credible witness to what was going on security-wise as far as this event goes. How do they explain this? Especially since we have a president in office that is despised by half the nation, the insane half of the nation. People that have made multiple attempts on his life, one of which was a fraction of an inch from his head exploding on national television. And here's an event with the president, vice president, dignitaries, other politicians, the media, and as Kennedy said, just waltzing around like she owned the place. What is going on? Who is in charge? How does that happen? Look, I can understand Butler, PA. Trump wasn't president. You had the Biden administration. And, they could taint anything with that position. Secret Service, the police, FBI, whatever. We saw how corrupt those organizations are. But you'd think at this point, the Secret Service would know that they have to be on their A game. And what did I see? Pictures that looked exactly like Butler, PA. Bumbling fat broads. Sorry, ladies, who are poundly, you are, overweight a little. But why aren't they doing anything? Why aren't they motivated to fix these problems? That place should have been shaken down, and an assassin was able to get in with weapons. A lot more to come. Stick around.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show. Welcome. This is an interesting take, too. MSNOW Simone Sanders was at the event, and she talked about the security like Kennedy did and said, it was barely anything. And there's an interesting little tidbit in her take on this. And I guess, you could call up and see if you think that something's a little fishy. She says, I actually showed up at the Hilton shortly after 8 p.m. and I took a scooter right up to the front of the Hilton driveway. They got those scooters around every big city now. And this matters because, as you know, there are usually protesters outside of these events. And there weren't. There weren't protesters. She was able to pull up outside the barricades that normally would have been for the protesters and get through them without a problem. This year, there are no protesters. I come to find out that people were milling about in the lobby. When I got off the scooter and into the front of the barricade, usually you have to show ID or a ticket. The folks at the security gate weren't agents. They weren't Secret Service agents. They were not identified as Secret Service that I could see at the gate. But they didn't ask me for ID. They didn't ask me to show a ticket. They said, "Oh, you're good. I'm sure you're going to your room. I'm not staying at the Washington Hilton." They just let her in. And that part about no protesters, why? Why? Wouldn't it have been more difficult for a would-be assassin to mill about and kind of work his way in with the crowd if there were protesters? I think they'd have locked down the lobby. If there were protesters, they would have locked down the lobby. They would have made sure to check everybody. So who called off the protest? Trump is there. The vice president's there. There's all kinds of Republicans and people that the protesters can't stand, and that's why they show up to protest. Why weren't there any protesters? Who told the protesters not to show up? Had to be, right? Why else wouldn't they show up? Anytime Trump is anywhere, protesters show up. This time there weren't, and security was very lax. As I entered into the driveway, I saw the president's vehicle. The Beast was driving around in the circle of the Hilton driveway, and people walking around it, taking photos. Secret Service was not keeping a perimeter. And I went around about 2-3 times while I was outside. It went around 2 or 3 times. When I entered into the Hilton, I asked Secret Service agents, which I saw were identified as Secret Service agents, which way to the ballroom. They said they didn't know. When I finally got my way onto the elevator, no one asked me again to show an ID. No one asked me to show a ticket. I got all the way down to the red carpet area without ever showing a ticket to anyone in the Hilton. I'm saying this because this is unusual. And this is a reporter from MSNOW, reporter, whatever you want to call them. Doesn't that seem a little odd? Doesn't that seem off after everything that's gone on with Trump and these attempted assassinations, that this had more lax security than any event, than a regular event? I've been to events that didn't have the president there. These showbiz events, a movie premiere. And you better damn well have your ID and ticket with you. And a guy was in the building with a rifle and pistols and knives and was able to stay in a room at the very hotel the event was in and ran right through a group of Secret Service people. He was taken down, thank God. That doesn't mean that the security was up to snuff. A law enforcement agent was shot, and it was just because of his vest that he didn't take a buckshot to the chest. This was a complete failure on the part of Secret Service and whatever other security is in place to make sure this doesn't happen. The fact that they got him is great. Good. At that point, Secret Service was able to do what they're supposed to do. But it never should have reached that level. If that guy had an improvised explosive device, grenades, fully automatic weapons, and decided to take out the agents on the floor, whatever would have been different than what it was. This guy was able to get into that hotel that this event was at, and with the purpose of assassinating the United States president. And it was only at the last minute of his mad dash to get to the ballroom that the Secret Service stopped him. Never should have gotten even in the building. So I don't know what people want to say about that, but oofa. Larry, Staten Island. How you doing, buddy?
Good evening, brother. Anthony, first of all of this will come out in a post-action critique of the event. But I want to just start by bringing you and I back to when we were growing up, let's say mid-'60s. We had assassinations, MLK, John F. Kennedy, Bobby Kennedy, Malcolm X. It was a very high revolutionary political time in our nation.
Yeah.
But what was missing was the electric technology that we live on today.
Right.
Thirdly, what I think is the reason why this is going on heavily lately, I put this at the steps of the elected officials of the United States.
Yeah.
They got to turn this rhetoric down. And I'm going to start with Hillary Rodham Clinton with the deplorable thing.
Oh, yeah.
People, they're sitting at home. You got people that are not all there who are sitting at home, who are heavily sedated.
Right.
They start thinking. Now they start probing. Now they start going online, jihad lines and everything else. And it makes them think. And, listen, I believe in the First Amendment. I swore to it. But there's got to be a way to tone this down and bring this United States of America back to normalcy.
Yep. Larry, you bring up a great point, too, because a lot of people might argue that the First Amendment has some weight here, and the rhetoric, the violent rhetoric that entices mentally ill people to commit violence against other people, to have a law or some kind of rule or regulation to tame that down would be a problem. I think it would be problematic as far as our rights go. The problem is, Larry, we shouldn't need one. We used to live in a country where there was decorum, there was respect, and you just didn't say things like this. You didn't try to incite violence on your political opponents with your words. A law or a rule, I don't even think that would help. The whole mindset would still be there, and they'd get around whatever rule or law was put in place to curtail some of this rhetoric. The problem is that people want to blurt this stuff out. They want to influence the mentally ill. They want Donald Trump assassinated. You see it all the time. They lie when they get on television and talk about how, I don't see that the rhetoric is bad. We'll see that a little later in the show. Who do I got? Jamie Raskin from Maryland. He's denying that anything was ever said that could be interpreted as condoning or inciting violence against the president, which is a complete lie. Complete lie. So, we're in a bad place, and rules and laws and regulations are not going to fix it, Larry.
Well, I know that, Anthony. But common sense is not common anymore.
No, uncommon sense.
These people, political people, elected officials, they're meant to one thing and one thing only: power.
Yep.
Power.
At any cost, Larry. At any cost. Thank you for the call, my friend. Yeah, power, votes. You saw what happened in Virginia. They just completely gerrymandered the state where Republicans aren't even represented anymore. That isn't running a state. You're not supposed to do that because you're one side and they're the other side. But that's where we are now. And it's gotten to the point where, they will say things to hopefully get the president killed. I got a clip here. This is Donald Trump. He went on 60 Minutes to discuss the events of last night. Was it last night? Yeah. And here he is talking to Norah O'Donnell from 60 Minutes. And, she's got to bring up the rape pedophile allegations that this mental patient made. You know how they say a lot of times, they'll be like, well, we here at 60 Minutes will not read any of the manifesto of the assassin. We don't want to give him any power, and we don't want anyone else influenced by the words of this insane murderer. They have no problem throwing out the horrific allegations that were made against Donald Trump. Unproven, no evidence, no nothing. They have no problem throwing that out. The thing that this guy, this Cole Thomas Allen, gravitated toward, grabbed onto, and in his mental head used as justification to kill the president. And there's 60 Minutes just reciting it right off of his manifesto. Let's listen to Nora and Donald Trump.
The so-called manifesto is a stunning thing to read, Mr. President. He appears to reference a motive in it. He writes this, quote, administration officials, they are targets. And he also wrote this, I am no longer willing to permit a pedophile, rapist, and traitor to coat my hands with his crimes. What's your reaction to that?
Well, I was waiting for you to read that because I knew you would, because you're horrible people, horrible people. Yeah, he did write that. I'm not a rapist. I didn't rape anybody.
Do you think he was referring to you?
Excuse me.
Oh, please.
I'm not a pedophile. You read that crap from some sick person. I got associated with all stuff that has nothing to do with me. I was totally exonerated. Your friends on the other side of the plate are the ones that were involved with, let's say, Epstein or other things. But I said to myself, I'll do this interview, and I read the manifesto. He's a sick person. But you should be ashamed of yourself reading that, because I'm not any of those things.
Mr. President,
and
these are the gunman's words.
Excuse me. You shouldn't be reading that on 60 Minutes. You're a disgrace. But go ahead. Let's finish the interview.
The other thing that he wrote in
the
other thing in the manifesto that
disgraceful. You're disgraceful. It is. Why would they choose to take that and present it? And like I said, they are notorious with not reading manifestos of these people, especially when they're, transgender school shooters, because they don't want anything out there that shows that this person's reasoning, if you could even say that for a crazy person, is that they felt out of place as a transgender person. They don't want to put that out there. They don't even want to put out there that it was a transgender person when those school shootings happened. In this case, they had no problem pulling out that from this guy's manifesto. And when Nora O'Donnell says, you think he was referring to you? Go F off. That is, of course he's referring to Donald Trump. You liberal propaganda morons in the media have pushed that for years now. You've pushed that. Oh, who else do you think he's talking about? Who do you think this Cole Thomas Allen was talking about when he goes pedophile, rapist, treasonous man? Oh, you thought he was. Oh, why would you think it was you? Unless you feel so guilty, why would you? It's always an angle with these pieces of crap. It's always an angle with them. A liberal agenda, and they stick to it. They never waver. And I'm glad Trump said something, because it was disgraceful. This is a president who had multiple assassination attempts, another one within 24 hours of an assassination attempt. He's on your station entertaining you for an interview. And this is what they say? Did they ask Gerald Ford if he had any connections to Charles Manson when Squeaky Fromm tried to blow his head off? Were they trying to make it seem like he was at fault for a certified lunatic trying to kill him? What? Reagan was not liked by Democrats or liberals. Did they once try to make it seem like Reagan had a part, some blame in an assassination attempt? Really? Holy Jesus. Did you, Mr. Reagan, President Reagan, did you ever watch Taxi Driver? Well, no, I don't remember that one. They never tried to question him and try to pin some blame. But Trump, multiple assassination attempts, and these pieces of crap, you can't hate them more. Is that rhetoric? Is that violent rhetoric saying you can't hate the media more? Oh, my God. I was reading earlier, someone was trying to say, well, Trump has said this about the left. And he called them crazy, terrorists, extremists. It was a whole list of words that Trump has used when describing people on the extreme left. The rioters, the protesters, the donors. And then they go, see, he did it. Yeah. To a group of people, a giant collection of people in this country that are insane. The way the left works, it's one person. It's Donald Trump. They're focusing on him. It's not some vague, oh, the left is crazy. So then people on the right go, oh, well, I guess we got to go out and hurt people on the left? No. We could see it with our own eyes, by the way. They are nuts. But when you focus a microscope on Trump and that microscope labels him as Nazi, terrorist, treasonous, dictator, you're going to get lunatics that are going to be the ones that are going to save the country. And it's all planned. They want this to happen. This is Manchurian Candidate. Absolutely, for the new century. Century's a quarter over already, but. All right, we'll be back in a moment. Stick around, your calls and a lot more next.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show. Thank you so much for tuning in on this Sunday evening. And, Obama, he had to get on social media and give his ideas or what his take on this assassination attempt. I'm not calling it anything else. That is absolutely what it was. But, you talk to some of these people, and Obama's one of them. We maybe don't know. This, by the way, was posted just a couple of hours ago. This wasn't like right after it happened. We're still not sure what it was. The manifesto's been out. The news has been out. We know about that. This was an assassination attempt on the President of the United States. And here's what Obama posted. Although we don't yet have the details about the motives behind last night's shooting at the White House Correspondents Dinner, that's how it starts. Right off the bat. We don't have details about the motives. It's incumbent upon us to reject the idea that violence has any place in our democracy, unless they're burning down a town, a city, because of a drug addict that overdosed in police custody. Then violence is fine. Let them. They need to destroy things. We need to allow them. Remember that one? We need to allow them to destroy things so they feel better. But we need to reject the idea that violence has any place in our democracy. It's also a sobering reminder of the courage and sacrifice the U.S. Secret Service agents show every day. Yeah, courage and sacrifice. I'll give them that. I'm not going to totally crap on them, but What a screw up. That was a screw up that guy was in the same building. I am grateful to them and thankful that the agent who was shot is going to be okay. Oh, that's good. That's good. And the Washington Post, as I was saying earlier, they put out their big paper, the headline and everything. They refer to the attempted assassination on Trump as, the headline was, chaos at White House media dinner. That was the headline. Chaos at White House media dinner. Someone's trying to kill the president, but it was a kerfuffle at a little dinner, some media event. This is how disingenuous, how lying, they're just the lies that the media and Democrat politicians like Obama, this is disinformation and misinformation. Sometimes it's not about what you put in the story, it's what you leave out. That could be just as damaging as far as truth in media goes. What you're leaving out of the story. If you're presenting an attempted assassination on the president as chaos at White House media dinner, you are purposely underplaying, underselling what happened. Now, you have to ask, why would you do that? Well, you have an agenda. You don't want it to seem like it was an assassination attempt. You don't want Trump to get any sympathy. You don't want Trump to be looked at like, wow, why are they trying to kill this guy? Why is this side trying to kill the president of the United States? So they lie, and sometimes they lie by omission. And that is exactly what the Washington Post did. And for Obama to say something to the effect of, we don't have details about the motives behind the shooting. He doesn't like Paris Hilton, so he went into the Hilton and decided to pull shenanigans. Is that what it was? It's so dishonest. And half the country buys into it. And they'll argue tooth and nail on social media, especially. That's, the blessing we have of the 21st century. The ability for any idiot to have his words heard by the masses. And they will fight tooth and nail anything to defend the people that are blatantly lying to the American public. There is no doubt, I have no doubt in my mind that we are purposely being lied to. This isn't some kind of whoops-a-daisy, we never realized how stupid they are in Washington, how many things they get wrong. Because I thought that maybe for a while, that they were just dumb. I've had a few jobs in my day. The boss was kind of stupid. But in this situation, no, this is planned. They are doing this. There are people that discuss this. All right, don't you go anywhere. Your calls and a whole lot more to come.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show. And obviously the huge story, the attempted assassination of Donald Trump at the White House Correspondents Dinner in D.C. And just a lot of questions, per usual. A lot of screw-ups. A lot of criticism, a lot of accolades, but who knows what to make of it? It really is we're in a place here in this country where everyone is so confused because we're just not getting what we feel is the truth anymore. The rhetoric, that's what we're hearing about, the rhetoric. And the left denies that they're ever saying anything that might influence mental patients to try to harm people. And from what I've seen, I absolutely believe that the nuts, the over-medicated, weak-minded, ignorant, imbecilic nuts on the left are very easily influenced to do things that the people in power would like them to do. There used to be something called the Manchurian Candidate, Remember that? They would take somebody and they would give them drugs, lock them in a room, MK Ultra. And in time, they would control this person's mind. And they would give them these key phrases. And they'd be normal people just walking around, living their lives. And then when they heard this certain phrase, they would begin the mission that was implanted in their brains during this training or procedure that they had for MK Ultra. This has been in a lot of movies, the same kind of storylines, but I think it's absolutely true. Years ago, you might not have believed it because it seemed a little far-fetched. It seemed like some kind of magic was needed, like you had to get someone. It was usually some military person, and lock them in a room and have all kinds of people watching them through those one-way mirrors. And you got to give them LSD or some other drugs. And then it never seemed real. It seemed so far-fetched. But now we have an entire population of this country that are potential MK Ultra agents without ever having to be put in a room or one-on-one brainwashing or having to give them drugs against their will. That doesn't happen anymore. But the project, the MK Ultra project, is just as effective. And I believe when they were doing it one person at a time, all it was practice for the large-scale MK Ultra, which is what we see today. And that is half the country. When they realized half the country was nuts, they were able to prescribe psych drugs for these people, legal. You see them advertised on TV every night. Are you struggling with depression? And you're like, oh, that's me. Let me ask my doctor about Depressex. And they just pop drugs in your mouth constantly. That's how you get through the day. Does your child have dyslexia or ADHD? Or they pop some drugs in his face. Now, you just got to pump out the information or disinformation. And the mission, you want them to complete their mission. Well, what is that? Well, that's the people that go around saying, oh, this guy needs to be done away with. Oh, he's an existential threat to democracy. Oh, I wish this would happen, or I wish the assassin would do this or that. And then they have the mission. They're already weak-willed, over-emotional. They didn't even have to pick and choose these people. They just knew they were out there. They didn't have to profile, find someone on the street that fit this criteria, and then drag them into the room and one-on-one turn them into a Manchurian Candidate. They're just walking around. And when everything works, you'll have millions of people that nothing happened to, didn't affect them in the least. But 1 or 2 or 5 or 10, they are ready to go. They're ready to complete their mission. They believe it. Yes, this guy is an existential threat. He is Hitler. He's this. Yes, I do need to be the hero for this country and save the children. And they just understood it was a lot easier to try to brainwash millions of people and get a few out of it than it was to pluck one person out and hope it works. That doesn't even sound crazy. That doesn't even sound science fiction or thriller movie. Or that can be done. That sounds like, oh, yes, absolutely. I know some very weak-minded, weak-willed people that are on medication that could absolutely fall victim to these people's plans. And then what do they say when they're faced with the questions, with the politicians and the people that are trying to influence these Manchurian candidates? What do they say when someone asks them, hey, don't you say some pretty evil stuff that might influence people to commit violence? Let's listen to Maryland Representative Jamie Raskin, shall we? This is a AC8. Jamie, as smug as ever, will not take an ounce of responsibility for the violent rhetoric that goes out from the left and his party.
Yeah, and you have, and as many of your fellow Democrats, have used some heated rhetoric against the president. And do you think twice about that when something like this happens?
What rhetoric do you have in mind?
Just talking about some of the fact that he, is terrible for this country and so on and so forth. I understand that that's your democratic right, but overall, do you have a responsibility?
I have no personal problem with Donald Trump at all. I mean, I talk about the policies of this administration, the authoritarianism like we saw on display in Minneapolis, where 2 of our citizens were gunned down in the streets simply for exercising their First Amendment rights. Renee Good, Alex Preddy, and others have, died in custody. I'm talking about policies. I don't personalize it, and I certainly have never called the press the enemy of the people. I think the press are the people's best friend, and that's why it's written right there into the First Amendment. We need the press to be a vigilant watchdog against every level of government, federal, state, local, all of it.
An honest, truthful press.
You're not going to get an argument from me on that. Before I let you go,
won't get an argument from me on that. Of course not. You're another one. You're part of the same machine. And, of course, he goes on there, and what does he do? He's asked that question, and he's like, what? What rhetoric? What are you talking about? What? He don't even know what she's talking about. And then, of course, he calls the press the enemy of the people. Yeah, a dishonest, agenda-driven press is one of the most dangerous things for a society. An honest press that is for the people, informing the people. Of course, that's what the First Amendment's about. A dishonest, agenda-driven press is a weapon. But what does he do? He goes and kisses ass about the press. He calls the enemy of the people. I think the media, and she's like, I can't argue with that. Dinner tonight? You want some drinks? I'm all yours now. Oh, she fell for that one. Representative Jamie Raskin. Well, if that isn't enough, how about we listen to Nancy Pelosi? Nan was asked kind of the same thing. She was asked about the responsibility, perhaps, of some of the Democratic liberal agenda rhetoric. And that's AC9. Maybe Pelosi will fess up and go, maybe you're right. We should all dial it back. Nan?
People don't have any intention of saying something that's going to lead to something dangerous, but we cannot take responsibility for the minds that are out there and how they hear it.
Other Democrats are quickly calling for gun control before we have the full picture of the alleged assassin.
Of
John.
All right. Mike Emanuel Forrest. Mike, as always, thank you.
Do you hear her? She's like, well, no one ever tried it. We never tried to say anything that people would want to, yes. And then, but we can't have responsibility for the people that, the people that are crazy. Yeah. That's how it works. She just said how it works. Well, we're just saying things, but we can't take responsibility if these nuts take what we say and then run with it. My God. We would never say anything, we're not going to say, hey, people, grab a gun and do this. She's saying that that's pretty much what she's angling for. We would never say pick up a gun, go out and commit some violence. But we just say things, and crazy people, we can't be responsible for the crazy people running with it. Exactly what I spelt out with this brandy new MK Ultra that is happening. You think I'm crazy for saying this? You think I'm tinfoil hat territory? Perhaps. But you show me one reason that fits more than that when we look at what they do and how they weaponize the news and what they say and the easily influence people and the pharmaceuticals. It might sound a little crazy, but, man, it's working. It seems to be working for them. All right, don't you go anywhere. We'll be right back.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. And let's go to Jack. Jack in Chicago. Oh, boy. Did you vote for the lovely Mayor Brandon Johnson, Jack?
Well, I actually can't, Ant, because even though I tell people I'm in Chicago, I'm in one of the less destitute suburbs.
Ah, okay. I get you. Good for you. What's up?
Well, let me tell you, it's an honor to call you today. I've got a little bit of an off-topic thing here. I wanted to let you know I'm an electrical engineer for a company that manufactures radio equipment, and we just got a huge contract for ICE. So I'm only a year older than the would-be Trump assassin, and all the young guys in their upper 20s on my team, while we're working on the circuits that are going to get illegals deported, we're listening to you pretty much all day.
I love it. Thank you, Jack.
Thank you, Ann. I appreciate it.
Did you see that this guy, this Cole Thomas Allen, was some kind of a wonderkin, some kind of a engineer? And the only video I see is he's using PVC pipe to make a kickstand for a wheelchair.
Well, that must make him a mechanical engineer.
Yeah, maybe that's it. I spell DEI, but I guess I digress. What's up?
Well, we always call it DIE since that's what your company does when it implements it.
True that. What's up? Hello?
Oh, hello. I'm still here.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You had something else you wanted to get to?
No. I actually just wanted to butter you up. I'm a huge fan, and I seriously appreciate it.
Hey, no, I appreciate that. I'll have you on the phone all night if it's to butter me up. Thank you, Jack. Jack from Chicago. Hey there. What are you doing there? You want some of that deep dish pizza? Oh, I hated Chicago deep dish pizza. Hated it. Let's go to Sal. Hey, Sal in Jersey. Sal, what's up, Sal?
Hello, Anthony. How you doing, buddy? I
Very
just want
well.
to say, concerning protecting the president, they ought to have the military protect the president. If they have the military protecting the president when he goes overseas, why don't they have the military protecting him when he's at home?
I don't know. Maybe it's some kind of thing where the military can't be in Rome with the emperor. I have no idea. But the Secret Service, the secret seems to be how to protect the president, because none of them these days seem to know how to do just that. Sal?
Yeah?
Okay. Well, okay. Well, no, your turn. Your turn to talk. That's how the phone conversation.
Because the Secret Service has been a big disappointment. It's three times already that they tried to kill him, and they haven't done, and they haven't protected him properly, effectively. And what's going on here?
It is amazing. This is unprecedented in how many times they have tried to kill this guy, and the fact that security was so lax, and I know Trump is defending his Secret Service agents and the law enforcement that was there to the hilt. I mean, I just watched a clip of him saying, hey, these guys did a great job. I have no problem. He said, any appearance I'm at, I could criticize security, but I don't do that. They've done an amazing job. What? This was such a drop-the-ball situation.
Yeah, because an assassination attempt takes place every 50 years. Now it's 3 times in 1 year.
3 times in 1 year.
In the past few years.
I guess we're safe for about 150 years then, Sal. Thanks for the call, brother. Oh, my God. How? How do you say they did a good job? You know, and I know Trump's got to get up there and say that. They do a good job. What do you want from me? If I can't wait to see the full interview. I've just seen clips with Nora O'Donnell over there at 60 Minutes, but I've seen a couple of clips. They're really funny. He was talking about the fact that this Cole Thomas Allen would-be assassin, talking about how he was part of the No Kings Day and the No Kings protest. And Trump goes, no kings. I'm not a king. If I was a king, I wouldn't have to deal with you. And Nora O'Donnell's just sitting there. I wouldn't have to deal with you. It's true, though. I love that. No kings. We don't want kings. Would a king allow you to protest against the king? It doesn't work like that. It's all hyperbole and nonsense. And, again, they just want to work up these people and get them all agitated. And look, sometimes it's not even so they commit violence. You know, assassinating the president is the pinnacle of the MK Ultra Manchurian Candidate theory here. The influence that they have over these people, that's what makes them protest and stop traffic and put their vehicles to try to harm ICE agents so they get shot so that they could say, look at, they're killing American citizens. It's all the same plan. It all reflects back to look how horrible and dictatorial the Republican Party and the conservatives are. So that's a big part of it. It doesn't always have to be, you know, I will kill the president. You walk away in that hypnotic state. Joy Behar. Oh, boy, I know. All the guys' ears just perked up. Ooh, that babe. Joy Behar. Also, another contributor to this agenda-driven smearing of Donald Trump to influence people to harm him, to try to stop him. And what would you say if someone told you somebody was trying to kill you? If you heard someone was trying to kill you, that might upset you and make you act. Well, here's Joy Behar talking about Donald Trump. That's AC4.
Yeah, I'm really mad at you, too. Yeah. I'm really mad at you.
Sometimes I feel like they're trying to kill us.
You think?
Yeah. I mean, you've got, and Trump just vetoed anything that has to do with climate change that would alleviate the problem. Mm-hmm. And we can see it everywhere that the earth is in a lot of trouble. But here you've got a guy who's in charge of our health, who was a former heroin addict, he swam in sewage. Mm-hmm. Who does that? Yeah. And that snorted cocaine off of a toilet seat. This is who is in charge of your health, America.
Yeah. Well, and also
do not put up with this. we're in a lot of trouble. Doesn't people see that?
Yeah,
oh, God. Listen, it's pandemonium. Oh, my God. He didn't sign a new climate change bill. We've been paying for that forever. Climate change, my ass. Oh, climate change. We've dumped more money into the world's climate change agendas and infrastructures. Meanwhile, what's the only country that's actually done anything about it? The United States. We have the cleanest factories. You don't see the pictures of the cities anymore with a brown haze over them. Smoke billowing out of smokestacks. We took care of our stuff. We, the American taxpayer, paid money. Businesses paid money to do this. And now the rest of the world is paying? You think India is doing anything about their industry? They're like 1901 as far as their industry goes. And we're supposed to dump money into this climate change scam because India and China can't get on board? Ain't going to happen. Oh, Joy Behar indeed. Back in a moment.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show. Just heard a clip from the Joy Behar, that disaster. The View is one of the worst shows on television. And I think they are one of the real key players in putting out this disinformation to the easily influenced. They know if anyone is watching The View, they have to be brain damaged right off the get-go. They have to have some type of mental problem. If you are seriously watching The View for entertainment or, God forbid, information. So they know, like, hey, push that. Push a show like The View. Let them say these things that we want to put in these numbskulls' heads. And that's what you get. And you heard them, Joy Behar, talking about RFK Jr. And he's in charge of our health? He swam in dirty water. He did cocaine off a toilet. They are the first people that will beg forgiveness for somebody. Wow, this person had a bad past. They made some mistakes in their youth, but they are great now and they're doing well and they're contributing to society. I think RFK Jr. is an amazing example of that. That is someone who, I mean, yeah, he was a loony and screwed up on drugs, and just being part of the Kennedy family. You got to be a little unstable, especially in your youth. All those Kennedy kids went off the rails. But he pulled it together. He's a responsible guy. He's healthy, and he wants to talk about health. I don't even care if you agree with the guy about his take on health issues. But he's discussing them. He's not shutting anyone down. That's for sure. Remember COVID? Remember trying to get a word in edgewise on anything that wasn't the company line that the government was telling everyone and that the media was telling everyone? Remember that? How about the ability to question something? And that's what RFK Jr. did. And even now, questioning vaccines or questioning certain foods we're eating, or there's nothing wrong with someone saying things like this. Did you like the guy in the dress better? Did you like the woman with the male pattern baldness and a skirt as in charge of our health? Joy?
It's odd to me that in a place that is teeming with Secret Service, with Washington, D.C. police, with all sorts of law enforcement.
Oh, yeah, I know.
This could happen.
I wasn't ready for that.
But
clip.
also, I think people jump to that conclusion that it is staged because Trump lies. He lies constantly, daily, and pathologically. So people do not trust and do not believe anything Trump says. His lips are moving. The likelihood is he is lying. Also, this is a man who has mastered the art, forget the art of the deal. He has mastered the art of distraction. Anytime he finds himself in hot water, his numbers right now are down in the basement. His Iran war is incredibly unpopular. People are pissed as hell at the price of gas and the price of everything going up. And so people look at this and say, oh my God, is he trying to distract us again? Because that is what he does, right? He posts crazy things and he does crazy things and says crazy things to distract us from the Epstein files, to distract us from his horrible numbers, to distract us from the failures and incompetence of his administration.
That was Ana Navarro. Ana Navarro, another one of these View jackasses. When do you think that was? A while ago? Before the assassination attempt? That was today. This is what she does. The hours after an assassination attempt on the president, she just trashes the president. Says that this is what he does. What did he do? Staged this whole thing? Do you know how many people would have to be in on this to stage it? Do you know the guy that's going to prison? What, did he just agree? Yeah, that sounds cool. I'm a young guy, got my whole life ahead of me. I have a diploma. I'm an engineer. Yeah, let me just throw that all away because Trump, he said, I need to make it look like someone's trying to assassinate me. It's so ludicrous. It's so insane. But they believe it. And this Ana Navarro is another one who's just going to talk her garbage, her complete nonsense, and there are people that eat it up and believe everything she says. They believe it, and they go on, yeah, that Trump. It's a complete diversion from the Epstein files. Oh, those files that the Biden administration had 100% access to for 4 years and didn't do anything with it. The Biden administration who had a lame candidate and then wound up with a lamer candidate with Kamala Harris was willing to do anything to attempt to win that election. But they just held back on all the absolute proof of Trump's sexual misconduct on Epstein Island, even though they had it. They had it right there. American people were clamoring for Epstein files and who. Give us names. Who was it? You think if there was one sentence in all those documents that implicated Donald Trump in any wrongdoing, they wouldn't have released it? Do you understand how insane it sounds when people say he's distracting from the Epstein files to cover up his rape and pedophilia on Epstein Island? Do you understand how insane that sounds? Knowing that the Biden administration had 100% access to every single one of those files and knew they were between a rock and a hard place in that election, and were willing to try to kill the guy in Butler, Pennsylvania. And what did they do? Well, let's hold it back. Let's hold it back until he has 100% access to it. And then we'll talk about how he won't release it. Are you kidding me? Whenever I hear it, whenever I hear anyone say, this is a distraction for the Epstein files, I assume you are profoundly mentally ill. That you have some type of mental retardation. That you can't figure out that the Biden administration would have pumped those documents out and undermined Trump's campaign. But no. You tell me then, because I must be stupid here, because I can't see any other reason why the Biden administration wouldn't have used absolute proof in the Epstein files that they had 100% access to try to crucify Donald Trump and use that against his campaign that they knew they were losing. Why wouldn't you use that? Give me one valid reason why they wouldn't have used it. And they have, obviously, if it's in the files, because Trump's distracting from them. So if it's in there, then they must have hid it. But why? It would have been great ammunition in an election. I'll tell you that right now. But no, it's not. Benny Bayside, what's up?
What's up there, Mr. Cumia?
Hey.
Anyways, as far as the Epstein files, please, that thing got squashed when they,
of course,
eliminated this. Please, there were too many people involved, and they had to make it just disappear.
I don't think, Benny, I don't think there are names of very powerful people in politics, entertainment, business,
obviously,
that have been hidden in those Epstein files for one reason or another by the left, the right. I don't know. But saying that Donald Trump is in there and there are allegations, not allegations, proof that he did things, why wouldn't the Biden administration have used it to stop him from winning the election?
I hear you, Dizzle, please. I hear you 100%. But again, it's just how the left plays the game to their advantage. When Biden was president, he wasn't president, number one. He definitely was not president.
Oh, no, I know that. I'm just saying him and his handlers, it doesn't even matter. His handlers would have used whatever evidence they had against Trump.
I'm going to say this very honestly. The Trump-Biden debate, the first debate, after 7-8 minutes, I'm like, please take Biden off the stage. Go to break or something.
Believe me, everyone on the Biden side was saying the same thing. It was a mess. I watched clips of that recently. It's even harder to watch now that you know this guy was compromised by dementia.
The funniest thing was at the end when Jill goes, "Oh, Joe, you answered everything so perfectly correctly."
Yeah, the wife. You answered all the questions.
Enough of times. That was the funniest thing I ever heard in my life.
Like a kindergartner.
Anyways,
I liked when Trump said, he goes, "I don't know what he just said." He answered a question. Biden supposedly answered something, and Trump just looked and goes, "I don't know what he just said." Yep. All right, Benny. I appreciate the call. Got to move on. Got so many calls coming in here. I want to try to clean up a few. Pamela from the Jersey of New. What's up?
Good evening. I have a Manchurian Candidate experience. I experienced the other day in a grocery store parking lot.
Oh.
I saw a gentleman in his 60s. He had his car door open, and he was side saddle, looking like he was getting out and leaning his head down. And I figured, oh, he looks like he's having a heart attack or something.
Oh, geez.
So I just called over to him, and I said, "Are you okay?" And he mumbled, "Yes, no thank you," or anything, And not that was a demand thing if you think somebody's dying, but he wasn't. So he just said, yes. And then I said, "Well, be careful when you pull out because somebody dropped a liquor bottle, with that thick glass right in front of your car. You don't want to roll over that and get a flat." And he starts saying, "Oh, well, that happens now. It didn't happen when Jimmy Carter was in office, he took care of the environment. He made sure we had oil and gas. And I'm thinking, should I tell him I used to wait on those lines waiting for gas 50 years ago?
Yeah, odd even plates and the fuel shortage, they called it. Yeah.
Exactly. And he starts, and I'm like, oh my God, this is bizarre. You know, one of my favorite horror movies is The Body Snatchers. And I'm thinking,
I love that, yes.
The old one, the black and white.
Yeah, that's great.
Something has taken over half of our population. Maybe it's even a little more now. But you get these insane responses from people. You don't even understand it.
Yeah, it does seem like the only contact or interaction people want to have with other people, not everybody, but, you know, the usual suspects as we see them, is some kind of negative, contrarian argument about some of the most innocent things. Like, you were being nice. Hey, when you pull out, watch the bottle. The bottle wouldn't have been there if it wasn't for Trump.
Yes. Yes, and I'm like, should I answer him? The little thought bubble went over my head, and I said, no, not worth it.
Yeah, not worth your time, Pamela. Not worth your time. Oh, I
and
love
he's
it.
liable to run me down. I mean, I've had people get violent in this grocery store. It's by a liberal neighborhood. And I've actually had I was looking at peanuts one day, and I said, oh, peanuts have gone up in price. And there was this really big guy, and you could tell he had bucks. You could tell by his clothes and everything. And he said, because it's a rich, very well-known town in New Jersey. And he goes, well, that's because of Trump. And he actually, I felt like he was going to be violent with me.
Yeah, they will. They get worked up to the point where if you start having any type of debate with them, because they don't really know how to have a dialogue with anyone, so it has to resort to either them walking away, flipping you the bird and calling you stupid, or they'll smack you in the face. I've seen it happen. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it.
Pamela, thank you so much for your call. I do appreciate it. My God, man. Yeah, people are, it is weird. You get into these situations where they don't want to have a dialogue. And I was a little surprised with her saying in his 60s, but, you know, that's kind of what it is now. You see a lot of these protesters, they go to these retirement communities, and the Walker Brigade comes out and they hold the No Kings signs. They've pretty much co-opted the elderly to be leftist, anti-Trump, and that was easily done. You tell an old person that someone is cutting your Social Security or your Medicaid or what have you, and they will activate. They'll come out in great numbers like we saw in the No Kings protests. So, yeah, they've brainwashed them, too. And they're impressionable. They're another group of very impressionable people. You have old people. Maybe they live in retirement communities. There's nothing going on all day long. And they get bored. And they feel like they don't have a purpose. And if the left comes up and whispers in their ear, hey, this guy's trying to take your Medicaid, you need to get out there. And they get out and they're amongst other people and they're bitching and complaining. Oh, it's a dream come true for the elderly. A dream come true. Oh, it's so sad. You could be, you know, calling your grandkids, maybe, if they even want to hear from you. I don't know. It's my birthday today, too. One more year. One more time around the sun. And I am so out of my demographic. Technically, yes, I am what they call a boomer. And I cannot stand the attitude, the mindset that is the boomer of today. I was having a conversation with a buddy of mine, and we were talking about when we were kids, the older boomers, the boomers that were at the beginning of the boomer phase, and how fun they were. They were just awesome. They didn't care. It was fast cars and girls and drinking and smoking. And they seem like a fun group. And now, oh, my God. Can't put them in the ground fast enough, huh? Yeah. All right, maybe that was a little rash. Maybe I went a little too far. I'll regroup, and we'll be back in moments. Don't go anywhere.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show, and I was just looking at my X posts. I am Anthony Cumia on X, formerly Twitter, of course. Easy peasy, right? Anthony Cumia. And Tinan Andy Wang, he says there's a reason scammers target the elderly. And what a great point, because the left, the Democrats, they're just targeting the elderly with another scam. It's just like, a Nigerian money scam, or we're going to redo your driveway. Or with AI, this is one of my, oh my God, who falls for this? Some of these elderly women especially, but I've seen men that have fallen for this one. Through AI, some of these scammers are able to put together videos of famous actors, young, handsome actors. And they tell these older women that they work up a relationship with them. And they tell them that they love them. And these women believe they are in a relationship with the likes of Brad Pitt. That was one of the celebrities that were used in one of these scams. And then somehow, for some reason, Brad Pitt needs money. I don't know why. He's made a few pretty successful movies. But Brad Pitt could use a couple of bucks from Mildred. And she coughs it up. And it's never enough. And then Brad Pitt was in the hospital. And there was some photoshopped pictures of Brad Pitt in the hospital. He needed, even though he has money, he didn't want, here's what it was. He didn't want people to know he was in the hospital because that would ruin his career and stuff. So he was like, if you send me money, I can pay cash for my hospital stay, and Brad Pitt doesn't have to be on the medical records. And these dummies can't cough up money fast enough, thinking Brad Pitt's going to be knocking on their door, coming with the thank you stooping. Unbelievable, but it happens. Is what was it? There's a sucker born every minute. P.T. Barnum, I think he's the one that said that. He was so right. What else has Trump done that is so terrible that people are compelled to take to social media and just lambast him to no end? Well, the Washington, D.C. reflecting pool, the famous reflecting pool. Martin Luther King gave one of his most famous speeches in front of the reflecting pool, and it's just been iconic in history, in real life, and in movies. Forrest Gump, oh, I'm gonna say Jenny, and he walked out into the reflecting pool with his well, she was kind of a slut. Jenny's finally staying with me now that she has AIDS. Thanks, Jenny. But again, I digress. The reflecting pool, it's been an iconic part of D.C., like the Lincoln Memorial and the Washington Memorial that bookend it. It's amazing. But it's fallen into what they call disrepair. And Trump has said, yeah, we're going to fix it. Because Congress, when you put it through the red tape and bureaucracy, I believe it was something to the effect of $300 million. That's what the taxpayers would have spent to fix it, to fix the reflecting pool in D.C. The normal way, the $500,000 hammer way, the $250,000 toilet seat way, $300 million. Well, Donald Trump figured out a way to do it for $2 million. $2 million. Fix the problem, paint the whole basin American flag blue. And the left, the Democrats, they are infuriated by this. And I went through a lot of the social media comments about it. And it seems that they don't like the color blue. They say that the granite that it's made out of and the water that is on it makes it more mirror-like. So it is truly reflecting. If you're standing there, you get to see the Washington Monument reflected in it. Yeah, it's a filthy toilet, and it has been for decades. And the thought of $300 million to fix it is a little out of range. So when Trump decides he's going to drain this thing and fix the holes in it and then paint it, put a liner in it like a pool, what's the problem? The problem is Donald Trump is doing it. That's the only problem. This is kind of a thing that Trump has done over the course of the years. The Central Park skating rink, back in what I call the day, they couldn't come up with a price that was under millions and millions of dollars. And Donald Trump figured out a way to get it done under budget and on schedule, actually before it was scheduled to be finished. And this is the same thing, but the bureaucrats in D.C. cannot stand when somebody comes into their little boys club, their little clubhouse, and shows that it doesn't take millions, hundreds of millions of taxpayer dollars to do something. Because it makes them, first of all, it makes them look bad. Secondly, how are we going to get the hundreds of millions for the next project if people know that we could do it for cheaper? We'll be back. Don't go anywhere.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show, and here's a little quote from James Carville, top Democratic strategist from many moons ago, talking about Trump. I do not want that man to die. I want to watch him suffer, and I can't watch a dead person suffer. This is the type of garbage you get from the left. He's always been just trash. Could never stand that guy. Yuck. Oh, the lovely Susan from Corning, New York. Susan.
Hey. Listen, I just think, baby boomers, it depends on their life experience, because I'm more like a kindred spirit with you. I have a few years on you. But even those 5 years or 6 years that I'm older than you, so I was 22 when the hostages, 52 Americans. Now, so this, your former caller just said about the guy in the parking lot that she met at the grocery store who was lamenting about how great it was under Jimmy Carter and gas was cheaper and whatever. Well, we had an oil embargo, and Iran took 52 of our Americans and diplomats and tortured many of them for 400 and some days until Ronald Reagan came in. So, but I want to say, everyone's talking about, these people that are insane and, they have brain problems. Yes. Well, I actually think it's more like that their beliefs are not founded in reality, and that definition is psychotic. And many of them are on these so-called, these pharmaceuticals.
Yeah, they put them on drugs, Susan.
issues.
That's what they do. It just amplifies their ability to influence them. That's what I believe. They take whatever mental illness they have, they give them these drugs. And look, the drugs might even help with the symptoms of the problems they have, but I really think it opens them up to be more easily influenced by what they hear.
Well, if you just look at the side effects, Anthony, on any of these drugs.
Diarrhea?
And so
itching,
depression.
rash in sensitive regions.
Suicide.
Yeast,
Suicide.
Susan. Is it yeast?
No, darling. The side effects that they give to people on these drugs that are depressed, that say they want to kill themselves, one of the main risks of these drugs is suicide.
Right, suicide,
these drugs were never this available. So,
I never got
we
that.
have
An anti-depression drug, and it might lead you to commit suicide, which is the ultimate in depression. So, I don't know. I think it's all a big scam, Susan.
Black box warnings are on these drugs that they're giving people because they feel a little bit nervous. And I can tell you, just from the way that they interview you, in our years up here, did you feel sad at all in the last few weeks?
Yeah.
And then if you say, like I lost my brother, well, here, let's give you a prescription for this. So there is a cahoots.
You're supposed to feel bad. Susan, you're supposed to feel bad in life. There are certain times in your life where you're supposed to feel sad or depressed or so. Let me tell you the drug I used to take as a kid. It was called Datarol. Datarol. It was my dad. And he'd say, quit pissing and moaning. Or he'd say, stop whining. Or he'd say, stop crying. I'll give you something to cry about. That was my dosage of, Datarol every day. It was wonderful. I got to move on, Susan. But always a joy, always a treat to talk to the wonderful Susan. We'll go off topic a little bit from the assassination attempt. This is something, if you listen to my show, you'll understand I love technology. I love it. I love what they're coming up with, new things. I try to see the good in it. I guess that's my being naive. I have a new vehicle that I picked up a couple of weeks ago, and the technology in it is astounding. It's fantastic. I love learning about every little button and thing it does. And then I start reading some other stuff. New car kill switch. A new car kill switch. Now, what would this be needed for? I would like if it was available to us right there, a button maybe. Someone gets in to carjack your car and you hit that. That would be nice, but that isn't what I'm talking about at all. Here it is. All vehicles manufactured in 2027. I don't know if this is actually passed yet, but this is what they want to do. And this story says that it's already through. Biden did this, by the way. This was a Biden thing that was shoved into some other bill. I think it was a green energy bill. That's, by the way, what got Obama to put that button in your car that if you don't press it, your car shuts off at a red light. That was Obama. And Biden came up with this thing. All vehicles manufactured in 2027 will officially be required to come equipped with advanced impaired driving prevention technology. Now, you think, this sounds okay. If somebody's drunk, why, they shouldn't be able to drive a car. How does this work? Under the new law, automakers must install systems that use cameras and AI, there's that AI again, to monitor driver behavior, tracking things like eye movement and attention levels. If impairment is detected, the system will activate and kill switch will prevent the vehicle from operating. Whew, a kill switch in your car controlled by AI and cameras watching your every move. Is that a good idea? Do you like this? You own your car. At least you thought you did. You know, there are certain things you buy that you feel like you don't really own. A house, your property. You don't pay your taxes. It's not your house or property anymore. So you kind of feel like, do I really own this thing, even if the mortgage is paid off? But a vehicle, you pay for the whole vehicle. You should be able to drive it, do whatever you want. I want to drive it off a cliff. Let me do that. But they're making it where someone, somewhere, or no one, AI and cameras, can shut your vehicle off. You cannot drive it. And I saw a few videos of people that are concerned that perhaps if you're in a panic situation, let's say someone was trying to carjack you and you shut the door and now you want to drive away, obviously, as quickly as possible to a police station for safety, and the cameras and AI detect your eyes seem like they're watery. Maybe your pupils aren't the right size for somebody that would be sitting in a seat relaxed, and it's mimicking maybe impairment on drugs or alcohol, and it won't let you either start your car or put it in drive. And now this hooligan outside has an opportunity to bust the window and finish the job. So this just seems like another thing that might not be a good thing. And like everything else, and I've said it before, they always present these things as convenience. Oh, this is great. I'll be able to sit in my car. My car will watch me and listen to me and monitor what I do on the road and send it to my insurance company, who will give me a lower rate for being such a safe driver. It never works that way. They always wind up using it against you. Everything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. That is for everything. And it might not be a court of law. It might, but it might not be. It might just be and anything can and will be used against you on your insurance premiums or your medical insurance or anything else. They will always use it against you. And when they're not using it against you, they'll just sell it to market it to other people. Hey, this guy falls in this demo. We know what he likes. We know what he talks about when he drives. We know what he listens to on his radio. So a lot of vehicles with new technology, and I've noticed because the vehicle I just bought has a lot of things that could be used as a way to make money off of you and what you're doing, what you listen to, what you say. There are sensors and cameras that the salesman pointed out up by the rear view mirror on the steering wheel, and it watches you. It looks at your expressions and your eye movement and other things. And again, this doesn't sound like something I would really want. It doesn't sound like something that insurance companies and car manufacturers and the police or anyone else are going to look at and say, no, we'll just use it for the good of humanity and people. Because we all know where that goes. And speaking of the police, there was something in one of these articles about this bill and the requirement for this technology in these vehicles, new vehicles, that they can Ford, it was Ford Motor Company, they patented a technology that will have cameras and sensors in place and will look at you and send any information to a police computer and AI and see if you are wanted by the cops. Maybe that's it. Maybe you're wanted. That doesn't sound very good. And then the other thing is just a master switch. Let's say something like COVID is going on again. And the powers that be don't want you to go out. They don't want you spreading that COVID. So they just hit the master switch. Now no one's car works. Now you're stuck at home. And if you don't think that could happen, think back to COVID and remember what they were doing to everybody during that. And you don't think if they had that technology, they wouldn't have used it? Yeah, you want to comment on that? 800-848-9222. Back in a flash.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show. And, yeah, thank you, man. Thanks for tuning in and supporting the show. We do appreciate it. And, you know, haven't talked about her in a couple of shows, I guess. But Rosie O'Donnell, yes. I like how she's sneaking back into the U.S. from Ireland a little more often than she did. When she left, she was just, I gotta get out of here. I don't like Donald Trump. And I'm going to Ireland and getting away from his tyranny. Well, she comes back and I guess to visit her adopted daughter in prison or jail or wherever she is. Did such a good job there. But what do I know? I don't know. Maybe she's a wonderful person. No, she isn't. Rosie O'Donnell, she, like most liberals and people that don't know how anything really works, she has this disdain for billionaires. Now, look, I'm not going to defend a billionaire if he gets a ticket. Oh, poor me, I got a ticket in my Lamborghini or what have you. But to bash a billionaire just because they have achieved billionaire status for no other reason is kind of silly. And the reason they give, if they ever even give a reason, is totally based on the fact that they don't understand how a billionaire becomes a billionaire or what a billionaire is. A lot of problems they have are with the lack of taxes that they pay and just the fact that you've amassed so much money when there's so much strife and poverty in the country. And they should just be able to throw their billions out into impoverished cities and everything would be awesome. Why did you have to collect so much money all by yourself? Which, by the way, never, ever really happens. And billionaires don't have $1 billion. Take a dollar bill, right? Now you have 100 billion of those. And you go, yeah, you hide it in your mattress. And you go, no one's ever going to get my billions. It doesn't work that way. But dummies like Rosie O'Donnell, they kind of believe that that's what the meaning of a billionaire is. That's how they became billionaires, and that's how they greedily hold on to their wealth. So AC6 is Rosie.
I think with the praise of billionaires and everybody thinking that's a great thing to be a billionaire, you know, it should be embarrassing to be a billionaire. It should be embarrassing to have the ability to help society and choose not to. I mean, you know, I don't know. I don't understand.
You don't.
How much can you have?
Billions. The juvenile thought process there. She's a dummy. And look, people don't have to be a writer for Forbes magazine. I understand not everybody was interested in how money works or how a billionaire becomes or stays a billionaire, why sometimes their tax burden doesn't seem to be as much as it should be. I understand. That's boring stuff. But if you don't know about it, shut your fat yap, Rosie. By the way, she's using a filter now when she does these Instagram things. She looks like she's from Whoville. It's completely changed everything. Her complexion, she's no wrinkles. She thinks anyone's buying this? Billionaires, maybe. I don't know. But, yeah, billionaires rarely have billions of dollars. They're rarely liquid. You'd probably be hard-pressed to get like $5,000 cash from them. Elon Musk, one of the most famous billionaires, the biggest billionaire in the world. And what do you think? He just has dollar bills at Elon Musk's house, in Elon's bed, his mattress. He shoves it under there. The billions of dollars are all tied up in everything, infrastructure. Take Elon Musk, for example. You know how much money it takes to keep Tesla running? Do you know how much money it takes to put people in space? He's literally putting human beings in space. Do you know how much money that takes? Yeah, billions of dollars. Billions. He's got other companies like the Boring Company. Well, Rosie should understand that word, but it's not the same. It's the boring, like digging. In Vegas, he's got tunnels in Vegas that you drive your electric car in, and it autopilots you underground to where you want to go in Vegas. And this is another one of these amazing innovations and things that he's working out that might catch on and become a big thing in the country, where you could just pull your electric vehicle into a tunnel, go to sleep, and you end up in Colorado in a couple hours. That's where the billions of dollars are. Innovation, employment. Do you know how many people billionaires employ? No, they just sit there. She thinks like it's, Scrooge McDuck? Or what is it? Just jumping into gold doubloons like a pool and swimming in it, which, by the way, is impossible. You cannot swim in a sea of gold doubloons. But I think these idiots think that's how it works. So for Rosie and all the rest of them, billionaires contribute so much. And I don't think they knew they were ever going to be billionaires. They might have aspired to it. But someone like Elon Musk, an immigrant from South Africa, and he comes here and he utilizes America to make amazing innovations for this country while employing people. And that's how you get to be a billionaire. You don't go around like Rosie thinking you could just dole out money to the poor. You think the second Elon Musk made his first million, he thought, I got $1 million now. No one should have $1 million. I'll just dole it out to poor people. No, he waits 10, 100 million, 1,000 million, $1 billion, and then more. And then what are you supposed to do? Give it away? That's not how this country's supposed to work. I'm sure he's very charitable with his money. I'm sure it goes to causes and whatnot. But that money is helping the entire country, the country of people that work for a living and do stuff and make the country better for everyone. Rosie, Back in a moment.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show, and boy, Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry is not very happy with the system, the court system, the judicial system, even the police. Things have to get done. This is a case where another young girl, innocent girl, was shot dead by a thug looking to maybe kill an op, yo. I'm using the kids' terms. You got to kill your op. And maybe some range time. Maybe take the old Glock with the switch on it down to the range and try to hit some paper first. Because the amount of innocent bystanders that are getting waxed by these young thugs is it's so infuriating. It's heartbreaking. There was a beautiful girl. She had just graduated high school with honors. Of course, these are the amazing, brilliant, bright, contributing young people that will make a difference in society for the better. And they're being eliminated by people that will never do anything but be a burden and a danger to anyone that comes near them. And no one even wants to talk about it, never mind actually doing something about it. So Governor Landry over there in Louisiana, he's fed up. And I think a lot of the governors, a lot of politicians, law enforcement have had it. Every day I am flooded with videos of teens, young teens, acting horrifically. The vandalizing, arson, assault, rape, and yes, murder. And it doesn't seem like anyone is paying attention, that anyone is speaking out and saying, no, this needs to stop. The coddling that Brandon Johnson in Chicago talks about, more youth programs. Oh, programs, that's going to stop it. Brandon Johnson the other day called prison and the police and arresting people abominable. Like it's an atrocity to him to lock people up for heinous crimes that they're committing. He thinks midnight basketball and coddling and all the youth programs are going to help. Not when you have a society and communities that have no interest in acting properly in a civil society. Absentee parents, a lot of these kids are living with their grandmother who cannot even attempt discipline. Everything that society shows them tells them that it's okay to commit horrific crimes against people. And over the course of decades, this has turned into where we are now. We all have to live like we're criminals. The bar gets lowered to a level where I don't steal stuff from stores. 99% of the people that go into a CVS are not going to grab something and put it in their pocket and walk out. But we all have to be treated like criminals and ask for a key to unlock something. Or now I saw this at a store. I can't remember what store it was, maybe Target. They locked up an entire aisle. They had doors at both ends of the aisle. And I think it was an aisle of goods that are that get robbed. They steal stuff. beauty supplies and hair care products, makeup. And you have to ask someone to let you in. You aren't a criminal, but everyone gets treated like one now. And why? You got to ask why. Well, because some people can't take that there are criminals and that they should be treated like criminals and there should be consequences to their actions, real consequences. And that way the rest of us can live in a society where everything isn't locked up, where we all don't have to act like we're in prison because of a few people that can't help themselves. So Jeff Landry has absolutely had it. AC7, he's this is what we need more of. We need more people in seats of power that think like this and want to enact real justice.
This is the kind of violence that we end up with when we engage in those kinds of policies. And I'm asking the legislature to go back and look at the laws. In fact, people that go into common places and decide to engage in that kind of violence, we should put them away for life. I'm done with them. It doesn't matter how old they are. Somebody has failed. It's not the government's job to raise these people. It's common sense not to go into a public space with a gun and start shooting around blindly. We got 18,000 acres at Angola. If it's up to me, I'd send them all there for the rest of their lives. Next.
Yep. But I've seen this before. I've seen people, police chiefs, they're so worked up about some atrocious murder that has taken place in their district or precinct or city, and they talk like this, and it just, nothing gets done. Nothing really gets done. And it's amazing. I mean, a 7-month-old kid was shot because some gang beef, 2 guys on a scooter just firing randomly. You're not going to change those 2 gentlemen into law-abiding citizens that are going to grow up and become something. It's not a movie. This isn't some movie where they go back into the hood a few years later and go, yeah, I was just like you. I was on the road to... It doesn't happen that way. They're habitually criminals. And if you off a 7-month-old, I mean, why are they even arresting him? How do the cops go, all right, turn around, put your hands behind your back, and not go turn around and then TCB, take care of business? But that's where we are. This is where we are. No one really, it's the people like Brandon Johnson in Chicago that say, well, we need more programs. No, the programs aren't working. Chicago, you should know, they're stacking bodies in Chicago. It's crazy how many young people are getting offed every week in Chicago, and he just will not see it for what it is, will not act on it. He's afraid to look like, I don't want to look like a black guy that's going against the community. You are going against the community. There are people that live in black communities in Chicago that are wishing, praying you do something besides coddling. They're the ones trying to live their lives. They want to go to the store. They want to be able to go out of their apartment and not worry who's waiting out in the hallway. But we're in this time and place now where people are petrified of doing anything about this, about even speaking that there may be an issue that has to be addressed. Yep. But how is New York doing? Well, Mayor Mamdani, can't do a show without talking about our favorite mayor, Mayor Zohran Mamdani. He's been talking about his daycare thing because he ran on so many of these amazing promises Remember free buses? Yeah, that ain't happening. And his grocery stores, I think 2029, when he's checking out as mayor, that's supposed to happen then. And by the way, a communist-run grocery store. Remember the old days? I remember as a kid, you'd hear about stores in Russia. And you'd hear about them from Russians that defected. They came here. And they'd go into a grocery store and be like, I have never seen so much food in my life. This is amazing. And it's because all their stores were state-run and they're empty. Why would the government spend any more money than they have to? So you're going to get the bare minimum. There's no competition. If you want a store in America, you can't just jack your prices up and have minimal merchandise, because there's another store down the street whose prices are lower and they have a bunch of merch. When the government runs things, it's just them. And all they have to do is the bare minimum. And that's always been the way it is. That's socialism. Oh, it's not democratic socialism? Yeah, it's the same thing. It's communism. Plain old-fashioned communism. So Mamdani, one of his other promises was universal daycare, right? Babysitter. I let me tell you something. I remember when I was growing up, my mom and dad, they worked, and they had to get babysitters if they worked or they wanted to go out. They had to get babysitters. They paid them money. And it was kind of a good entry-level money-making job for a young gal in junior high or high school. Now they just want the kids to be taken care of in universal daycare programs. And by the way, it's also so they can indoctrinate the kids. They're little kids, I know, at the time, but they could still put little nuggets of liberalism in their head, transgender stuff and whatnot. So again, just an agenda. But Zohran's talking about his universal daycare programs, and let's see what that includes. AC3.
It very clearly. These are programs for every single New Yorker.
Oh.
These are not programs that are going to ask the immigration status of any one of the children. All of those children are New Yorkers. They should all be enrolled in pre-K and 3K, no matter where they were born or where they come from. And we are also proud to be
there you go. Proud to be a stupid communist. That's what he was going to say. So, hey, New York, how do you like that? Your free child care, by the way, which is paid for by, yes, you pay for it. Are you working? Are you in New York City? You will be paying for this free child care, because you know damn well if you can afford it, you're not going to send your kid to some free city government-run child daycare. You are going to send them to a private school. But if you have money to do that, you also have money to pay for illegal alien kids. Yes, illegal alien children will be given free child daycare. For what? Can you believe this? $5.5 billion budget shortfall. $5.5 billion. And instead of cutting these insane programs, and his other thing is to tax the wealthy. Well, how good would a successful, wealthy New Yorker feel knowing that he's being taxed so that an illegal alien's kid can be put in daycare? Is that going to make the wealthy want to hang around New York? Is that going to bring him back from Florida, like Hochul said, Governor Hochul? hey, any wealthy New Yorkers, when you go down to Florida, bring a couple of those wealthy ex-New Yorkers back. With what? The promise that they'll be paying for illegal child daycare? How the hell did you guys vote for this guy? I understand. Look, your choices were not very good. I get it. But, I mean, even the Democrats, the primary, this is your guy. You fell for the smile and the Instagram videos. He's still doing it. His dumb big smile, and he talks about the grocery stores and the free buses, that they're coming, don't worry. Imagine you had to wait for that bus. That's a bus that's never coming. The free bus. Thank God. Because, as we all know, that would be a rolling mental asylum. Homeless people, fighting, maybe some drug use. Because the only thing keeping them out is the fact that a fare is necessary. That's why when they jump the turnstile for the subway, all bets are off. It's all about mayhem, murder and mayhem. But that, he's rubbing it in your face. If you are a working New Yorker, they're begging you to stay. Hochul is anyway. Mamdani has said no one's leaving. He called it the imaginary exodus of New Yorkers. Really? Well, you tell those imaginary people that they have to pay for illegal aliens' kids to go to daycare, you're going to get a lot more imaginary people leaving New York City. And Hochul's trying to play both sides. She's trying. It ain't working. Because she's all about this taxing, the death tax, where, you got to pay the state and the city 50% of your money if you die. They don't even leave you alone when you're in the box. And for what? For what? Their biggest thing that they've been selling is that we need to make New York City affordable for everyone. Why? Can anyone answer that? Why should New York City be any more affordable to everyone than Beverly Hills is? Or any of the rich suburbs in Connecticut or PA or upstate New York? Why is New York this city that's very, very expensive? If you've ever been there, it is insanely expensive. Why is there this delusion that it needs to be affordable to everyone? So that's how they sell it. And to make it affordable to everyone, they will go to the only people that can afford to be there and tax the crap out of them till they leave. It's utter and complete madness. This makes no sense whatsoever. He ran on this, though. He's not pulling out any surprises, and you all voted for it. All right. Don't go anywhere. We are back in a moment.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show. Let's go to the phones. Dave in Jersey. Dave, what's up, man?
What's up, Ant? Rosie wants to attack billionaires, but she's a millionaire, and I don't have millions, so maybe she should be attacked.
Yeah.
And also, as far as Mamdani's smile, nice face, Deke.
Nice face, Deke. Yeah, a lot of these Hollywood types, they love the fact that they've made a lot of money. They've done very well for themselves. And then they want to talk about how other people should give away their money.
Right, and I love people who have money. Everyone should have money because that's how the economy works. But you shouldn't attack people who have money.
You know how ignorant it is to think that most people in this country look at millionaires like she looks at billionaires? Like everyone that's living their life paycheck to paycheck, or, they have a modest house and a job that gets them by. They look at millionaires, which a lot of Hollywood are millionaires, exactly like Rosie is talking about billionaires. She can't see herself in the same light that she sees those billionaires.
And back from when we both started in construction, we never got a job from a poor man.
That is true. I never had to hump into an attic, a big air conditioning and heating unit, from a poor person. That is, the wealthy people make the jobs, they hire the workers, and they are just villainized by the left. It's amazing. They think they should all just open up their wallets and bank accounts and investments and just throw the money at the poor, because they have this image in their minds, in their dumb minds, that everything will take care of itself, that the money won't end up right back with the rich people and the poor being just as poor as they were before they threw all that money out, because that's just human nature. It's the way things work.
And also, it's been said many times that money can be given. You can give endless money to a poor person, and in a year they'll still be poor. And when you give money to a rich person, they make money out of money.
They make money out of it.
Thanks,
it's
Dan.
how it works.
I've been with you since the 90s.
Wow. Amazing. Thank you, my friend. I do appreciate it. There he goes. Have a happy birthday? Is that what you were going to say? I sure hope so. That's Marty. Marty, Hudson, Jersey. What's up, my friend?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Wow.
Happy birthday, dear Anthony.
Yes.
Happy birthday to you.
I didn't know it was Mary. I saw Marty. I was like, Marty has a hell of a high voice. Mary, thank you so much. I do
You're
appreciate
welcome.
the happy birthday.
I wanted you to end on a nice note instead of all this bad news. So.
Oh, it's always bad news, Mary. I apologize, but, when things get better, I'll talk about that. Right now, oofa, we're in it. We are in it, and it's deep. Thank you, Mary.
Anyway.
Oh, I do appreciate Mary. I'm sorry. I think I cut her off there. Hey, New York, besides Mamdani, this is has to do with Mamdani. Public urination in New York City is up 50%. Don't you wish your pay was up 50%? Your stocks were up 50%? Public urination in New York City is up 50%. And it's because they don't care. It's one of those crimes that they think is a victimless crime. It's one of those crimes that liberals say puts people with mental problems, homeless people, into jail. In the old days under Giuliani, and even before Giuliani, they would lock you up. That was an arrestable offense. If you were urinating in public, you went to jail. They took you to a precinct. You had to post a bond. Now it's like they revel in it. They love it. Every vestibule you stand in New York City stinks of urine. You see them. They're in public on subway platforms, in the subway cars. They'll be sitting or laying down on the seats, and a stream is coming out onto the floor of the subway. Up 50%, and it's because no one wants to do anything. My good friend, retired Lieutenant NYPD Keith Maresca, he told a story once. He pulled up. He knew all the homeless people and bums. They called them bums back then in New York City. And he saw one of them, and he was in a doorway relieving himself, urinating. And Keith kind of walked up, snuck up on him, and planted his boot right against this guy's ass, and he was pushed forward right into the door. He wound up urinating on himself. He hurt himself in some of the most sensitive of areas, and that's how it's done. That's what cops used to do. And you think, again, this guy's just going to do it again, knowing that that could happen? It's called real consequence. And sometimes the cops dished it out. They didn't wait. They didn't coddle. They didn't take him down to the precinct and let him go. And then you got to hear a lawyer talk about how the cop abused him by yelling at him for urinating in public. You smash your cop boot right into his ass, and he stops peeing. That's how it worked in the good old days. Nothing is going to get better as long as they're coddled like that. A good cop boot. All right, people, thank you so much for tuning in. I do appreciate it, and we will return next Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Loved all the phone calls tonight. And, Anthony Cumia on X to get my take the rest of the week. Later.
Thanks for listening to The Anthony Cumia Show. You can hear The Anthony Cumia Show Sunday nights at 8. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
I hate Steven Singer, but you know what I love? Mothers. Think about it. Before morning coffee and chaos, before the day even starts, there's mom, the one who wakes up at sunrise, packs lunches, drives carpools, and somehow keeps everything together. She's the sunrise of the family. That's why Steven Singer created something special this Mother's Day. His brand new Sunrise 24-karat gold-dipped rose. This exclusive rose captures colors of the morning. A morning sunrise with sparkling blue that fades to a pinkish purple, to a warm golden yellow. It's stunning. Steven's gold-dipped roses are real roses dipped in, preserved in real gold, guaranteed to last a lifetime, just like mom's love. They arrive in beautiful gift box. They're shipped for free with your own personalized message. Steven's new Sunrise Rose is just $89 exclusively and only available at IHateStevenSinger.com. Celebrate the moms who make every sunrise possible. Steven Singer Jewelers.